Already in this Notes from the Pro series, we've looked at what I've learned from Shonda Rhimes and Arron Sorkin's masterclasses. But where Shonda Rhimes and Arron Sorkin's are the modern-day avengers of drama, comedy is my happy place. I currently enjoy writing rom-coms and family-friendly movies, and Judd's films have mastered a few of the story techniques that I'm still trying to get right. Also, his films are funny, like when you have to hold your belly because you're laughing so hard kind of funny. However, he's not all about being a comedian in your screenplay. I mean, even though he writes a great joke, he still stresses that we must not forget the drama in the screenplay. The first takeaway is that if you have a great story with great characters, it's easy to try and make it funny, but the story should be just as good, even if you removed all the jokes from it. He actually even says, think of your comedies as dramas. Judd doesn't seem to shy away from the work that goes into being funny. If you're looking for where the funny is, he describes that usually the humor lies in your identity. I also like this approach because you end up writing what you know, as opposed to trying to replicate or enhance something written by somebody else that doesn't sound true to your voice. So, for a fun activity, he encourages making lists where you think about things that you could change about your personality, what you consider being wrong with the world, and maybe thinking of what you would change about your body. Basically, his approach is that the more personal you become, the funnier you'll be. Then, to add to this, he encourages that you make notes of cinematic moments in your life. He shares examples of how some of the best work he did was the most personal. Now, I've had some pretty hysterical things happen in my life, and it was fun to reflect on those and aim to incorporate them into some of my screenplays, as opposed to thinking of situations that were textbook funny, but that didn't have that personal flair. Judd mentioned speaking to someone who told him that the first screenplay he sold was his 10th one. This helped Judd, and dare I say me, take the pressure off needing to sell his first screenplay. On this point, Judd was told that some people write one screenplay and talk about it for years. They keep showing it to people and it never gets made. I remember listening to Damien Chazelle talk about La La Land and how he actually tried to push that for a while with no interest, only to realize that he better try write something else.
The best thing that happened to me was La La Land, everyone saying no to La La Land. It was like, years of trying to get La La Land made in Hollywood, everyone saying, not just no, but like, please go away.
Imagine if he quit after getting all of those no's. Anyway, he wrote Whiplash, which was fantastic. And then he had La La Land in his pocket, ready to go. So Judd's encouragement was to start your next screenplay after you finish the first one. Man, I can't tell you how helpful it was to hear this the first time I did this screenwriting course, which was about 3 years ago. I had a screenplay that did very well at a competition level, and I tried to get it out. I really tried hard. I contacted over 100 people. Anyway, I followed Judd's advice and started writing the next thing, which was terrible, by the way. But the point is, he shares a lot of perspective that this isn't going to happen overnight, and that it's more helpful to train that writing muscle as opposed to straining your vocal cords talking about the only screenplay you've ever written. His process about approaching your first draft is something I'm doing to prepare for the next screenplay that I'm about to start writing. He mentions that for a few months to even about a year, he writes out scene ideas around the theme of the film or the idea of the film. Now, I'm not giving myself that much time, but the point is to jot down things so that you set yourself up for success when it comes to eventually staring at that blank page. So Judd isn't necessarily sure of how his ideas will connect, but he just writes these ideas down anyway. So after he has many cards with scene ideas written on them, he goes full Sherlock and tries to find the movie. He comes at the idea of facing the blank page by making it approachable and not intimidating. I found that when I watched Judd's masterclass that I had an inflow of movie ideas, character ideas, and scene ideas. It's a class that opens up a creative tap. I mean, I was literally flooded with oomph. I found myself pausing and jotting down notes related to other projects, and it could just be because this class is the cherry on top of a trilogy of time with the pros. But there are literally not enough synonyms for the word inspired that I could use here. Creative impulses just took over during the duration of the course. And even though I don't find myself to be a comedian in the slightest, I do know that I am drawn to the humor of most situations. I'm trying to think of a few helpful things to share. For one, he encourages you to outline films that you love and to ask questions like, what happened? What do you know about the main character? How's the story being told? Can you pick anything up about structure? I literally did this with The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and I got a crystal clear idea for a movie that I'm currently outlining. Guys, I took this tip to the next level and dedicated a whole month to studying 4 Nancy Meyers screenplays. I think it's clear which universal themes I enjoy writing about, but feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see the outcome of that Nancy Meyers challenge. But this tip is for you if you're struggling for ideas for what to write about. You become aware of what fascinates you, and if you combine this with a second point of making things personal, you may find yourself in the same place that I found myself in, which was a ball pit of epic ideas. I chose to share insights that were a little different from what I shared when I reviewed Shonda and Arron's masterclasses. But there is a mountain of information still worth discussing when it comes to Judd's masterclass. I know I've briefly touched on comedy and how to add humor in your screenplay, but I recommend this course for tips on tone, casting, and directing too. Anyway, what I loved about all of the courses is that you get to see each path that Shonda, Arron, and Judd took to get to where they are now. It's empowering because each master in screenwriting did the work and they didn't quit when it got tough. There's a disarming humility about them that encourages a belief that, even though they're at the top of their game, well, they're not too different from you. And at the end of the day, you get to hang out with people that are far better than you in the screenwriting field, if that's what you're interested in. And it doesn't really get much better than that. I mean, what are the odds of you having Shonda, Arron, and Judd over at your home for tea, sharing everything they've learned up until this point in their career? Well, very likely if you open your laptop and invite them into your space. Guys, I just found these courses to be genuinely valuable. And if you're like me, an emerging screenwriter, then I'm thrilled that I get to share resources that help me with you. Let me know in the comments what resources have helped you, and let's learn from each other as well as the pros on how to write better content. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos on screenwriting. Good luck with your screenplay. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.